Hey everybody, this is J. Scott Heathen with Heathaplex Vision, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about some books. You know, what are those things? Books like paper stuff, not like books like these. No, I'm talking about real books. And one book that I want to talk about, which may impact the way that you think about how digital media is changing the paper media world, is a book called Designing Media by Bill Moggridge. And I just picked this up recently. And this is probably the first hardback book that I've bought since about April of 2010. And that is roughly about the time that this device came out. I started converting a lot of my paperback, hardback books over to digital, selling a lot of my books on Amazon.com through their used book sales, and started making that switch. But I came across this book, Designing Media, through actually a couple different Twitter feeds, and I myself am very interested in the way that media is changing and evolving. And Bill Moggridge here has a number of folks that he's interviewed in this book and put together a pretty good collection that allow you to kind of think through and develop some opinions about how you think the world of print media is going. And let me just read the introduction real quick. Basically, he questions what's happening to books, magazines, newspaper, television, and radio. The information revolution is in full swing, with digital versions of mainstream media taking hold and changing everything. But are things really changing? And that's kind of the thesis of this book. And he presents this in a very beautiful, hardbound way. This book is amazing from a construction standpoint, from the way it's put together, the look and feel of it. I was really amazed by the quality of this book. And I bought this book for about $25 on Amazon. This has a very $70 university textbook feel to it, but it's very, very affordable. And here's the great thing about the book. Along with the hundreds of pages that are in here, and you're talking about pretty close to 600 pages, you get a DVD with this book that includes a number of the interviews that he conducted. So this is a great resource. And here's the other thing. If you don't want to pay for this hardback version, you can actually download the chapters on the website, designingmedia.com. So definitely check it out online. You can sample some of the interviews and see what he's put together. Like I said, the quality of this book is incredible, and he really put it together in a really interesting way. It uses a lot of different color. There's a lot of brilliant graphics throughout the book. Some of the things that he says are in words printed in blue. Some of the other things that that I noticed as I started reading this, different typefaces and fonts are used when the interviewee is speaking versus the author's thoughts. There were so many subtle things that I've never really picked up on reading a book before that was put into this fashion that kind of just blew me away, and it kind of made me fall in love with paper copies again. And one of the interesting things about this book is it'll just get you thinking about whether digital media is really changing all that much or for the better. There's a lot to be said about the quality of print and whether you really think it's going to disappear or not. I was a big adopter when Wired magazine first put their print copy on to the iPad. It was very, very interactive. Movies, you could take a look at some things. But in the end, I've kind of fallen off from purchasing it, one, because the subscription service is non-existent for Wired for the iPad, but two, but the beautiful print version of it just didn't really seem that far out of date, and I found myself going back to the paper copy. So I'm not 100% convinced, and based on some of the readings that I've done in this book, that a lot of things are going to disappear. There's a lot to be said about magazines and what a magazine is used for. So maybe some of the thoughts that you need to be thinking about, and some of these are presented in this book, are what are the tools that we use for media, whether it be a magazine, a newspaper, television, and what is the appropriate one that should continue to evolve, or are there some things that should really just kind of stay the same way just based on research and what we're seeing out there in the field. there's an interesting graphic in here that talks about how Wired for the iPad has not really taken off as much as it had. It had a big uprise and a big uptick in interest, and then it's kind of petered out a little bit. So you know, a lot of folks are still going strong with the magazine sales, and a lot has to do with obviously leadership driven by that company. You know, that they've been heading in the right direction with their magazine for a long time. So if you're highly interested in just getting some alternative opinions about media, about the future of media, check out this book, Designing Media. Again, he's got a number of interviews with some of the leading folks in the media world. You know, you've got everybody from Chris Anderson to Mark Zuckerberg in here. Check it out. I highly recommend it. The price, you can't beat it. You can get it for free on the internet through their website and check out most of the chapters, or you can buy this really beautiful print version for about $25 on Amazon.com. So, and if you like this book, he does have another one that's fairly new out there that I picked up just because I love this book, and it's also called Designing Interactions. Completely different. I haven't really gotten into it that far yet, but this is next on my reading list. Definitely worth a read. Check it out if you're interested. All right, thank you again, folks, and let me know what's on your mind. Visit us at heathenplexvision.com or check me out on Facebook and Twitter, and let me know what I can do for you today. Take care. Have a wonderful day.